Kim Potter, the former police officer who was accused allegedly of shooting and killing Daunte Wright, pretty sure she did. We saw it happen. This was happening right in the middle of the Chauvin trial. If you recall this, Kim Potter was an officer who stopped Daunte Wright, very young man who was in his teens, I believe, 20 years old, Daunte Wright, stopped on the side of the road, and they were about to make an arrest. And as Daunte Wright was sort of, the officers were trying to get him to comply, he threw his arm out and tried to get back in the vehicle and flee on the side of the road. Kim Potter, who was a training officer at the time, thought that she was pulling out her taser to shoot and detain him, pulled out her gun, shot, killed him. So he drove off further, basically died right there on the side of the road. And his girlfriend, I think, was in the car. So this was happening right in the middle of the Chauvin trial. And this was a problem for the Chauvin trial because there were a lot of people who were angry about this. There were protests that were taking place. This was in the national news yet again, and it caused a lot of turmoil in Minneapolis because it happened right outside of Minneapolis. Well, Kim Potter was in court today. She had her first court date. She had what's called an arraignment today, and it was an omnibus hearing. So a lot of activity, a lot of flurry of court documents being sent back and forth. We're going to go through some of them today so we can kind of get ourselves caught up to speed on where the Kim Potter case stands today. Now, the trial is not going to be scheduled at least now until the end of the year. Judge said it's going to be loosely, tentatively scheduled for December. We'll see whether or not that happens. We know that there is still a lot of chaos. I don't know if it's chaos anymore, but a lot of, let's say, tension that is in Minneapolis as a result of the Chauvin trial. We know that Judge Cahill continued out the cases, extended those, pushed those back for the other three officers that were with Derek Chauvin on the date of the May incident in 2020 involving George Floyd. So the question then becomes, is this going to be something that can take place in December, or is the scene going to be too tumultuous? Is there going to be too much turmoil in Minneapolis that's going to require Kim Potter's case to also be continued just like the other three officers? We also have to ask ourselves this question. Hey, Minneapolis, right? They're going to be running out of police officers pretty soon because we've got now 5 of them who are being charged with crimes right outside of Minneapolis. We've got the 4 Chauvin and Floyd officers. Now we have Kim Potter. Kim Potter was in court today. She, of course, is an ex-police officer who fatally shot the motorist, Daunte Wright. Judge said trial is going to go forward. Very, very preliminary court date today. Hennepin County Judge, we have Regina M. Chu. So we're going to have some new faces here. She said during a virtual omnibus hearing on Monday that she found probable cause to support the charges against Potter. Set trial date tentatively for December 6. We'll see if that goes. After a brief delay over technical difficulties, Chu started the hearing, the judge, by offering condolences to the Wrights family who were there in virtual attendance. We have Special Assistant Hennepin County Prosecutor Imran Ali, which we did not hear from in the Chauvin trial, so this is somebody else they're bringing in, raised concerns about the trial start date, citing the amount of discovery and the witness selection that the state has ahead of it. And I'm going to show you this. We're going to look at the discovery documents. These are called disclosure documents. So we've got a list, there is a lot here, a lot more than I was even expecting. We have all sorts of training records and a lot of different witness statements, actually, more than I was expecting. And I'm going to show you what all is in there. We have 4 pages of a list of just documents. Then we have audio, we have video, we have some other exhibits that are being disclosed. I'm going to show you all of that. But the point here is that the Special Assistant Hennepin County Prosecutor Imran Ali is saying there's a lot, and we need some more time to get through it. Not so sure that December 6th is going to work out for us. The article continues. Again, this comes over from, where did I get this article? Washington Post says, I think it's to the benefit of everyone to try to expedite this case and to try to come up with a resolution or trial as quickly and as reasonably as possible, said the judge. And I would expect, if I had to guess, I would expect that there will be a plea deal in this case. I'm not so sure that this is going to go to a trial. I'm not really sure what the triable issue is, unless she is going to be claiming that we did a defense video on her. We did a defending the indefensible-ish type of video on that, and she. I think that the only defense in this case is really that she was entitled to shoot him at that time. That even though she used the taser as a mistake, if she would have used her gun, that would have been legal. And the legal theory there is that he was fleeing, right? And he was driving a car, so he would have been somebody who could have theoretically been a danger to other persons, to other parties out there in society. And so if the police just let him get away, because he's fleeing, he is now fleeing in a car, which turns the car into a deadly weapon, which could theoretically kill somebody who is innocent out there on the roadway. So Kim Potter then, by extension, as a law enforcement officer, in order to stop that threat, can use deadly force to protect a third party. That's the legal theory that I think is probably her best, maybe her only shot at overcoming at least one of the charges. I'd have to look at the charges again. But back when we did our analysis, that was the defense, that yes, this was a mistake, probably negligent, but she could have shot him. She actually could have done that. And the fact that she did, even though it was a mistake, wasn't unlawful because she was stopping him from killing, hypothetically, somebody else. I know it's a stretch, but it's one theory. Potter, 48, was dressed in a black shirt. She appeared from the office of her defense attorney, Earl Gray. She did not speak apart from acknowledging that she consented to the hearing taking place virtually. Here's her mugshot from back in the day. Potter, who is white, has not appeared in court since April 15th, the day after she was charged with second-degree manslaughter for the shooting of Wright, who is black, during a traffic stop in Brooklyn Center. And you recall, there were protests there, right? The previous week, Chauvin was still there. Potter had been a police officer for 26 years until she resigned over the shooting. She's remained free on bond. Monday's hearing marked the latest development in a case that drew significant national attention just as the trial of Derek Chauvin played out 10 miles away. In the days after the death, suburban Brooklyn Center was rocked by days of protest that at times unspooled into violent clashes with police. And we know this because we know that alternative juror, the woman who came out and gave that first interview, the first juror to come out and publicly speak, she also gave us a bunch of her notes, right? And she was traveling back and forth between the courthouse in Hennepin County and Brooklyn Center, where all the protests were taking place. And so people who were watching the Chauvin trial were throwing their arms up in the air saying, see, this is why this is not a fair and impartial trial. The venue should have been moved. It should have been relocated, because what's happening here is we have jurors traveling to and from the courthouse who are being improperly influenced by these riots, by these external protests that are obviously political, and they have a direct correlation to what is taking place in the Chauvin trial. It's about police brutality. It's about police who happen to be white killing a man who happens to be black, or if you want to take it further, it's intentional. It's a racist white cop killing a black man intentionally. We have a very similar set of facts in the Daunte Wright, Kim Potter shooting, taking place 10 miles away from the Chauvin trial. Might be worth voidering the jurors again, might be worth investigating what is happening here and whether it ultimately improperly unbiased the final verdict. So the question that I had, since we're in the same county, we're still in the same court, we're in Hennepin County, we're in the state of Minnesota, we're in the Fourth Judicial District, are we going to watch this whole thing? Are we going to be able to see everything like we did with the Derek Chauvin trial? Maybe, but not quite yet. So first of all, we have an objection from Kimberly Potter. You can see this here. This was filed on May 10th. So we're just getting caught up here. Kim Potter says that through her counsel, she gives notice that she objects to cameras in the courtroom for the hearing that took place today, right? So no cameras in the courtroom. She objected, signed off on by her attorney, Earl Gray. Now we know that the judge accepted that. So this was the order that came out on May 11th. Says the above matter came before Judge Chu on the request by various media outlets. And so a lot of the media want to come in and watch this whole thing, of course. Rule 402 says, yeah, we can allow that with the consent of all the parties. Defendant here objected during a scheduling call. The state, however, they consented. The state's perfectly okay with this. The omnibus hearing then shall be open to the public, and media is welcome to attend via Zoom, but no audio visual coverage. That is denied. So we're going to see if that continues. The judge did say that that audio visual coverage, or the state today filed a request that the trial is open. We're going to see if the defense objects to that, and we're going to see what the judge says about it. So let's take a look at some of this disclosure that just came out. This came out today, early this morning, 9:53 a.m. back in Minnesota. We're talking about disclosure. So quick framing of what this means, how this works. When you are a criminal defendant, you're somebody who's being charged with a crime. That means the government is prosecuting you. Okay, the government has all of the evidence. Literally, they have the police department, they have all the crime labs, they have all the forensic kits, they have all of the evidence locker rooms. They have it all. It's all in their possession. All the body cameras are recorded to their devices. They own all the police vehicles, everything. So if you're a defendant, well, you need the government to tell you what they have, and they better be honest about it. They better tell you everything. They better give you everything that they've got. And if they don't, if they keep something out, if they don't give you something that might be exculpatory, meaning it might show that you're innocent, it might tend to prove that you didn't in fact commit the crime. If they have possession of that, and they're supposed to give it to you. If they don't, it's a huge problem. So we have these really strict rules surrounding discovery. And the defense, by the way, also has to disclose stuff to the government. We have to tell them, these are our expert witnesses. This is who we're going to call in. This guy is going to come in and talk about blood results. This guy's going to come in and talk about a sex kit, a sex exam. We have all different expert witnesses, forensic accountants and digital technologists and all sorts of different people that we use. And so we have to disclose that to the government so that they know what evidence we have and what we're planning. We want to know the same thing from the government. So pretty standard stuff. Now, in this case, there is a lot of it. Let me show you what's happening here. We have supplemental prosecution disclosure. This was sent over this morning, 5/17/9:53 a.m., County of Hennepin, Minnesota versus Kimberly Ann Potter. Pursuant to Rule 9, which must be their sort of disclosure rules, please find supplemental disclosure incorporating all previous disclosures. Okay, so this is just one additional supplement. So you have sort of an initial round of disclosure, and then everything after that is supplemental. So we're going to see a ton of discovery coming out in this case. But remember what happened here. Again, this was a side of the road shooting. There was a girlfriend in the car. Daunte Wright was there. We have the officer, Kim Potter. We have her partner. We have body cameras from a couple different angles. And this was on the side of the road. So presumably we have other people who stopped and saw. And it was a shooting. And so we're going to have, medical exams, autopsy reports, a lot of information here. Let's take a look at what the government is disclosing today. You're going to see it's a lot. Here we have it. This is from subsection A. We've got crime scene receipts, photographs, Kim Potter, Sergeant Johnson. We've got property receipt, handguns. We have body-worn cameras from an officer. We have evidence receipt of a blood kit. Okay, so they must have drawn blood from maybe both officers. We have a laboratory, blood kit maybe from Daunte Wright. So a laboratory analysis, medical personnel certificate, transcripts from an Aaron Longting interview. So look at all these different interviews. We have Jason Blansky, D. Thau, Brandon Thau. We have Liana Mob Cobb, Brandon Thau, disc of the surety video clips. Look at this stuff. Carrie Blansky, Duvang, lots of stuff. Then we get over here. We've got additional statements. We have a Diane Lodermeyer interview. We have blood prep kit card, medical examiner evidence receipt, mobile video recorders. So we have all these different policies. Look, we have the BC, so that must be the Brooklyn Center Police Department policies. So we've got video recording policies, officer involved shootings and deaths. This is 11 pages. Conducted energy device. Must be the taser policy, control devices, another sort of less than lethal use of force. And we have the use of force policy. So we got a lot of documents here that are all Brooklyn County policies. We've got iPhones, XS Max, radio traffic of the incident, Officer Dan Irish interview. We have Casey Abukar supplemental report. Look at that. It just goes on and on. North Memorial Health EMS. We have USB drives. List goes on and on. Look at all these different officers. Hayter, Dunwell, Buck, Donahue, Lazenbury, Maganana. We've got call logs. We have taser logs. We have property and application and search warrant receipts. So they went through everything. Interview of all these different officers. Look at all these different officers who were involved. We have Sergeant Johnson, more search warrants. And folks, this is still on documents. This is still documents. Look, we have Potter took some performance evaluation. So this will be interesting. We got some miscellaneous information about her. We have an application, evaluation, 52-page evaluation of her. 46 pages for one performance evaluation, 34 on another, training certificates back from 2017, 2019, one. Then all the way back to 1996, she was disciplined. We got 9 pages of discipline records. Oh, we got 29 pages of commendations, training certificates, more commendations. We have performance evaluations, cell data, photos of her taser and duty belt. All right, I'm just reading a list at this point. But the point is there is a lot here. Let me show you. We'll wrap this up. We have some audio. So we've got some radio audio. We have different reports. We've got time codes at the end of here. So all audio recordings. Then we have body-worn cameras. So we've got Lucky Potter, Lucky Potter, Lucky Potter. So we'll have 2 officers who have that. Then we have photos of the gun belt, photos of the scene, photos of the 2 cops, doorbell videos. I wonder what that's from. Surveillance videos, and from the crime scene. So yeah, they must have gotten, here signed off on by Imran Ali, must have gotten warrants, probably went and searched her place, Daunte's place, who knows how extensive this whole thing was, but lots of discovery. Let's take a quick look over at some questions from watchingthewatchers.locals.com. I know this was a short segment. We'll see if we have any. First one here is Mestizo Quixote. says the public comments from juror 52, forget his name, is Brandon Mitchell from the Chauvin trial should clinch the argument for changing the venue of every trial of a Minneapolis police officer. Seems increasingly unlikely that they will be able to assemble an impartial jury in that city. Yeah, I mean, maybe even for the foreseeable future. It is really, really volatile right there. And we now know this because the judge granted a continuance for the other 3 officers, which of course begs the question, if those 3 officers got that continuance, why didn't Derek Chauvin? Good question, isn't it? Judge is going to have to answer that, and I think that the prosecutors will as well, and we'll see what the judge has to say about it. So I want to say welcome to a couple new members who joined us over at watchingthewatchers.locals.com. What's up, Aunt M? Welcome to the community, and Fair Lady as well. Welcome to you both, Aunt M and Fair Lady. They signed up over at watchingthewatchers.locals.com to support the community and the show, and I really appreciate that. I mean it. We have some people who asked some great questions today. Thank you to all of you. You know who you are, and if you are not already a subscriber over at Locals, well, what the heck are you doing? Go get it. Go look. There's a great stuff over there. I can't even speak. That's how excited I am. We have Beginning to Winning. It's a book that you can download. I wrote it. It's for free. Download the PDF if you join up over at watchingthewatchers.locals.com. You can also download a copy of the slides that we went through, a copy of the impeachment party documents, a copy of my existence system, personal productivity device. We have links and conversations that you can share, and you can meet great people when you get over there. A couple quick dates I want to ping. We have our monthly Locals meetup, which is happening via Zoom. So we're going to meet face to face, but you can keep your camera off if you want. That's happening on Saturday. Going to be this Saturday, May 22nd, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to go for 1 hour. We're just going to say hi. Okay. No pressure at all. We're just, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you, Liberty. Good to see you, Pinky. Good to see you. We're just going to say hello. That's all. No pressure. Come join us this Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Then next month, June 12th at 12 noon Eastern time, we're going to have law enforcement interaction training, totally free if you are a supporter over at locals.com. On our Watching the Watchers page. We're going to talk about the basics of interacting with law enforcement. What happens if they pull you over? What happens if they come to your house? What happens if they call you on the phone? A lot that we can get into, and so we're very excited about that. Saturday, June 12th at noon Eastern time. So hopefully you can join us. And lastly, one of the most important things that I do, of course, is I'm a criminal defense lawyer. I am a founding partner here at the R&R Law Group. We're located in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we are very passionate about helping good people facing criminal charges to find safety, clarity, and hope in their cases, and hopefully in their lives. And so if you happen to know anybody in the state of Arizona who is facing a criminal charge, we would be honored and humbled if you sent them our way. We're very good at what we do. We can help anybody who's facing criminal charges in the state of Arizona with anything, any type of criminal charge. DUIs, drugs, domestic violence, felonies, misdemeanors, traffic cases, doesn't matter. Old cases, if you have an old warrant you want to quash, if you have an old conviction that you just want to expunge, if you want to restore your rights so that you can vote again, or go possess a firearm, or go apply for some federal benefits, if you just want to clean your record up so that the next time you're applying for a job, you don't have to check that box that says, yes, I've been convicted. We can help with that. We can remove mugshots off the internet. We can do it all. We're very good at it. We're passionate as hell about it. And so if you happen to know anybody who could use some of those services, I mean it, I would be honored and humbled if you trusted us enough to send them our way. We'll make sure they leave our office better than they found us. They can grab a copy of my book, and we'll do our very best to make sure that we can move them beyond this difficult and tumultuous time in their lives and on to the next episode, just like we're going to do here, because we're going to be back here tomorrow, same place, same time. It's going to be at 4 p.m. Arizona time, which is 5 p.m. Mountain, which is 6 p.m. Central, which is 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And for that one Florida man out there, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today on this lovely Monday. I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye-bye.